So I'm gonna show you my daytime makeup, and in the next video, Katrina will show you her nighttime makeup. So this is my favorite brand for foundation, but I ran out of it, so now I have to use Clinique, but this still works really well. So I use it as like my foundation base. So I'm gonna roll up my sleeves so I don't get them dirty. And then I'm just gonna put some on my hand. It doesn't really matter how much, it's whatever you think you need. And then I'm just gonna take it and put it, I start with my forehead, doesn't matter. And you're supposed to kind of blend it outwards because then it just makes it look better. And a lot of people use sponges or different like ways of putting it on, but I just prefer to use my fingers because then the sponge doesn't suck up all of the foundation.
So the foundation I use is from Garnier, and it's just like a skin renew thing kind of, and so it's like good for your skin. I don't really like to like put a lot on my face, but I like to put some.
You really want to make sure that it's blended so you don't have like a difference from your face to your neck.
Yeah, make sure you bring it right down to your like jawline because you don't want like
The line.
the line here. Like, why doesn't my face match my neck?
Yeah.
Also, don't put a lot on, or else
It's gonna look too like caked and too thick.
Yeah.
So I just finished doing my foundation base, and it doesn't do an amazing job covering up everything. So I'm gonna, here we go. I'm gonna use my concealer to just go over a few like spots that I want to cover up. So I use Stila. So what I do is I just put a little bit on my finger. It doesn't really matter what finger you use. I like to use my middle finger for whatever reason. But I just put like a little bit just so I can kind of like dab over certain spots. So the thing about the concealer and whatever, some people like to use it first before the foundation, but I just like to do it after. It doesn't really matter. And then just a bit after, I like to use this MAC Studio Fix powder. I don't use it everywhere, I just like to put it on places where I tend to shine. So I just take a bit with the sponge and just kind of put it on. So it's not every day that I use eyeshadow, but sometimes I just feel like doing it. So I have the Naked One palette, which I love so much. It's from Sephora, it's Urban Decay. And it has a bunch of different eyeshadows that come with it. What I like to do in the morning is I like to use Virgin, Sin, and Toasted. And then sometimes I also use Sidecar just for like underneath. You can use any color, it doesn't matter, however you want to do it. So this is how I put it on. So I take the brush it comes with and I just get some of the Virgin, and I'm going to use this as my base, so I just put it basically all over on the eyelid. And I put that all the way up underneath my brow. And I do that on the other side too. Now, I'm using the same brush and I'm just gonna take Sin, just a bit, and I'm just gonna put it on the actual just like eyelid part. And I just kind of bring it out a bit too. Then now I'm going to take a different brush for Toasted. And this one is just, it's more fluffier and I use it like on the like higher parts of my eye. So I'm just going to I'm going to get some of the Toasted, just a bit. And I'm just going to kind of put it on like, it's like the outer kind of part. So kind of like a moon shape kind of. Just like that. And I just really want to make sure it's blended in and not like random colors on top of each other. And the other eye. And so it's somewhat in the crease and a bit on top. Just the end. I grab a different brush. So this one's a lot thinner and smaller. It really doesn't matter what brand brushes you use, any will work. And even if you want, you can use the same brush for all of it. It doesn't really matter. And then I just take a bit of the sidecar and I just kind of follow the line underneath, like where my eyelashes are. Like that. It just puts a bit of sparkle, but like not too much or anything. And the other side. Okay, that's my eyeshadow. That's all I do. And then now, usually I do eyeliner, but it doesn't really matter today. I'm not going to show that because it takes me a long time to do. So I'm just going to do my mascara now. Also, if you're doing eyeliner, you don't want to do too much or anything because it's the daytime. So you want to make it more natural. Okay, so I'm using one of these eyelash curlers. And I'm just gonna take it, I'm gonna grab the top eyelashes, and I just kind of press down 5 times. But it really doesn't matter how many times you do it or how long you hold. Everyone does it differently. So with mascara, some people like to use more than one, some people just stick with one. It really doesn't matter. One trick people use when putting on mascara is they like to look down, so then it's easier that way, but I just do it really weird, I don't know. And then if you're doing bottom eyelashes, you can look up. Or some people also like to just blink as they do it, but it doesn't really matter.
Mascara is one thing you never want to borrow from friends because eyes have a lot of bacteria and that gets on the brush, so you don't want that spreading to you.
So it doesn't really matter how many coats you use, but the more coats you do use, the more volumized your eyelashes will look. So since my eyes are dark, I use like the blackest mascara, but maybe if you have lighter eyes, you'd want to go with a lighter color. And I only put on a few coats since it's daytime, but it really depends on how you want your eyelashes to look. So now I'm doing my other eye. And some people like to use the eyelash curler after they've put on mascara as well, but I heard that it isn't really that good for your eyelashes. Okay, so now I'm just finishing up my makeup. I like to use this. It's a light bronzer, but also like a bit of blush. It's my brush I use. And then I just put like a bit on, like around. And then I make a little fishy face. And I just kind of get it on the cheekbones. I only put a bit just to add like a bit of color, but like not too much or anything. Now I'm done my makeup. That's what I look like in the morning.
So thanks for watching.
And now in our next video, you can see how Katrina does her nighttime makeup.
Bye.
Bye.